Woo! Little Pearlo dance for y'all. Lauren is already waiting in the house. Right on, buddy. Thanks for coming in. So, Carolina with the big game against Chicago tonight. I'm a little concerned. Chicago played really well against Ottawa, but I think Carolina will be able to shut them down. I think they're going to have to play kind of trappy tonight. Chicago's on a burner right now. They're feeling good. So I I I I do I think Anderson will win over. Fleury's playing well. Uh, so I'm not, as you can tell, I'm not really positive. I'm not like normally I would be, where I'd be all over Carolina here. They've won what, 8 in a row, 8 or 9 in a row. So yeah, anybody has a tendency to maybe get a little comfortable when they've won that many in a row. It's, if they get a little pushback and stuff like that, they could be surprised by Chicago tonight. They, I'm sure Brindamore will have them prepared, 8 in a row. I'm sure Brindamore will have them prepared. He'll be telling them in the room, like, the Chicago team, don't look at their record, because they got their mojo going right now, and they're feeling confident. They got Kaner back. They play long passes. I don't know if they want to do that against Carolina, but I don't know if they know any other way. They try to open up. They try to get through that center ice as fast as they possibly can. So Carolina is going to need to do a little bit of trappiness, I think. No, they're kind of hybrid. They can play trap. They can play a long pass through the neutral zone. They can do several things, but I think they're going to be a little trappy tonight against Chicago. It would be wise that they would do that. Pull out the trap, shut them down, make them feel like they can't score again. Try to get that feeling in them that they're a little uncertain about their ability to score. And because right now I think that they're in a place where they think they can score from anywhere. That's what it feels like to me. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an easy game by any stretch. Mercer, how you doing, buddy? Woo, Mercer's in the house. Welcome in, bud. Yeah, they can play. They can play. That's what the best teams do. Is they're able to play a hybrid type of system against whatever team they're playing against. Like the New York Islanders, they're going to play different than Chicago. It only makes sense that they would do that. New York Islanders, you want to play a low pressure, dump and chase against them. You could do that against Chicago too, kind of dump and chase-ish. You can, but I wouldn't. I'd try to play an offensive possession game. Because, hey, Mike is back. Did you figure it out, dude? Thanks for coming in. Woo! Mike is back. Everybody get some hype in the chat for Mikey. Mikey's a return customer. Woo! But the games last night, taking a look at that, the one I was most surprised with last night was the Ducks. They had Raquel out and Silverberg out, and they didn't miss a beat. And I was, my affinity with Bernier, but the Devils just didn't play well defensively last night. And the Ducks bided their time and waited for the right chances. My boy, Lundestrom, scored last night. Lundestrom. I love that guy. And Torrey Terry scored another one last night too. That's 8 for Torrey Terry. Man, that guy is playing with confidence. That shot he took was so precise and accurate. It was fantastic shot for Tory Terry. You haven't figured it out yet? Jeez, I don't know how to help you. I got to take my wife somewhere tonight. I got to get into a 7-Eleven and take a look at that Sports Select. I don't know if it's different in Canada, though. Oh, you're in Alberta. Aren't you in Alberta? Oh, yeah, you're in Olds, so it should be the same. I got to get in there. I got to get in there tonight. I've been very busy. I had some meetings that I got to do. I'm doing meetings now. I'm doing like marketing meetings and all that kind of stuff like that. It's weird. I never thought I'd be doing that kind of stuff. I'm kind of enjoying it, though. I have, do you know the Duncans? Actually, she probably doesn't go by Duncan. I have a aunt that lives, her name is Teresa, I believe, that lives in, pretty sure it's Teresa that lives in Olds. Her husband is a mechanic, and her name is Teresa. You might know because it's a small town. You have a cold, John? Oh, that's too bad. John's in the house. Yes. Yeah, last night that one really threw me for a loop. I didn't think the Ducks would be able to take Jersey that easy. Troy Terry had 2 goals last night. Did he have a hat trick? No, 2 goals last night. 6th and 7th goal of the season. Crazy. They got him playing with Getzlaff, and I don't know. He's just found his mojo. They've been looking for him for a long time, and it was starting to get questionable whether he was going to, become what they always thought he would become. But this year, so far, anyways, he kind of reminds me of your guy in Fiala. He kind of reminds me of Fiala, especially the way he's playing right now. When Fiala gets on a ringer and everything starts potting in for him. Yeah, Patrick Kane had a hat trick, and that's the thing going to be tonight with Carolina. Is with Patrick Kane back, it changes the whole energy of that team. Not to mention all of that stuff that was going on in Chicago is kind of getting taken care of now. And I just have a feeling that they're going to have a pretty good energy going for a while now. I think you're going to see a different Chicago team. So Carolina's got his work for them tonight. This is no easy out tonight by any stretch, I don't think. I think Chicago's going to be playing balls out. That's going to be tough, too. They got some big games coming up. Florida is going to be a tough game. And that's on the road, too, right? Oh, boy. Tough to say, man. Like, I don't know if I want to put... I'll watch Carolina tonight. Because to me, they could be overlooking I'm banking that Brindamore is going to have them prepared, and they won't overlook Chicago here. But there is that possibility that Chicago takes this one tonight because they got Florida coming up. That's going to be huge. Yeah, I'm going to really want to see what they look at like against Chicago tonight, because if Chicago plays the way they played against Ottawa, it should leave them open for offense, and they can kind of trap them a little bit and wait for mistakes, because they're bound to do it in Chicago. They're bound to flub up their passes and stuff like that. They're not like Minnesota where they're just precise offensive. Florida's not playing tonight, but Carolina's next game is against Florida. Is that against a back? Is that on a back-to-back? Takes a while when I got the Carolina. No, they got 2 days, and then they got to play. So hopefully they're not overlooking Chicago here. That's my main concern. Is there any new stories out today? Okay, Leafs notes. Since we got it, there's some Leafs notes here. Oh, they're talking about, yeah, having to pay Jack Campbell. That's going to be difficult. They have been going on with Campbell. Oh, Travis Dermott, it looks like he's available. That sounds like something the Oilers would do. And Mrazek is still not fully healthy. So Toronto lets go of Anderson for what seems to be injury concerns. And now they're having injury concerns with Mrazek. But apparently Dermott is on the block right now. I don't know what they're going to... I mean, who knows? There might be a team out there that overvalues Dermott, but there shouldn't be. You didn't do good yesterday because of a tie. Okay. Yeah, I highly recommend you message me. I can talk to message. You got my message, so I can help you out with that, bud. I can help you out with that. I can help you out with making some money too. He's shown inconsistency. It's hard to say with Campbell because Toronto's, like I said, Toronto's defense is so up and down that it would be very hard to be a goaltender in Toronto right now. The last little while, their offense has been moving, which is good, but I still am not. I'm not a fan of their defense. They loaned him. Oh, I didn't even see that. They loaned Kravtsov to the KHL again. Wow. Justin Holl on the trade block? I don't think so. Unless you're talking about a better player in return, I can't see Justin Holl being put on the trade block for anything. But even Dermott, like they're gonna have to add something with Dermott to get whatever. I imagine they're looking for a deeper, another defenseman in return. In which case they'll have to add a player or two, add a player and a pick maybe, and see what they can find out there. But defense is hard to get, especially when you're given a guy like Dermott who really doesn't have much confidence around the league right now. I don't think. I would have to say, but possibly maybe look towards Arizona and getting a veteran out of there. Let me take a look here. They might be interested to see if they can turn Dermott around a little bit. And, he's a young player. He still has upside. And they're rebuilding. So maybe like Anton Stroman. I'm not sure that's the best thing in the world, but at least he can play. He's looked in the games I saw. He looked not too bad. That would be the only guy actually, Anton Stroman or Ilya Lyubushkin. And what is he a winger? Is he a righty or winger? Toronto Maple Leafs, Dermott. Well, first of all, he's injured right now apparently. He can play right or left defense, but I think he's usually a righty, isn't he? I think he's usually a righty, so maybe Stroman, but that's again there you got the problem with Toronto that you have cap space. Right now they might have some cap space because 10% of the season is going right now, so I doubt it though. He would have too much right now. They would have too much, if any. Oh, 1,200,000. That's it. And what does Dermott make? Not very much. 1,500,000. So hypothetically, they could bring back a $2.7 million defenseman and have no cap space left over. Yeah, and that's with Mikheyev out. So, like, if he comes back, so they got to save some room for that. So, I'm surprised they couldn't have found anybody for Kravtsov, but the way he went out like that and he wouldn't go down to the minors, a lot of teams would have been probably pretty shy to give him a look, and certainly wouldn't give up too much for him. He decreased his value by not going down to the minors. He's basically acting like a kind of like a spoiled brat. And Chicago took on one of those in Nylander, and we see how that worked out. Hasn't worked out very well. When they traded one of the few trades that Buffalo won. He's injured right now, but he's actually a pretty good player, and Nylander can't even hold the roster. Jokiharju, yeah. So a lot of teams would be probably gun shy to take a guy that refused to go down in the minors at his age, and so he ends up going to the KHL now. And if he would have just listened to the Rangers, went down there, did the best he could, he probably could come back making NHL money. He's not making that much in the K, that's for sure. Not starting. Oh, so Smith isn't starting now? I still like Edmonton, but I would be cautious because Nashville can outwork you. Scott Wedgwood is placed on waivers, which means that Mackenzie Blackwood is coming back. Yeah, I would be cautious on that front because Nashville can outwork you. The good thing is they played last night. Oh my gosh, Quick is likely. LA's going to put Quick in. Korpisalo for the Blue Jackets. I've had a feeling they would do that. Geez, I put that as an under. I don't like that as much now with Korpisalo, and I thought Merzlikins was going to play for sure. I got nothing I got nothing here on the Oilers and who's going to go in. Where did you get that information from that they're going to be Dermott to Chicago? Yeah, like, and there's another team that might as well take out another poor defenseman. Yeah, with Nashville on a back-to-back, and Forsberg is out for Nashville. Forsberg is out, so that's pretty big. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't go high on that on Edmonton. Like I wouldn't bet the farm. Edmonton is, especially on their defense, is subject to get outworked. So with Koskinen in there, they could. But Nashville will be playing their backup Ingram, and I mean he's unproven, and his minors stats are not great. So possibly an over there. Possibly an over I would look at, but I think that's at 6. Hey, CL! Woo! CL's in the house. Yeah, thanks for coming in, buddy. What do you want to talk about today? We're kind of going over yesterday's games a bit. You know how I do it. I'm all over the place. Really disappointed. I made a bad call on the Sabres too. With half their lineup out, San Jose, like a lot of their lineup was out last night. they had guys like Merkley got his first was it assist? Oh, it must have went. I thought it was his first goal, but apparently it was assist. But they had Leonard back up, and yeah, I guess you know what, Lane Peterson. I probably shouldn't have faded that lineup, but you have Magna playing and Hataka. I don't even know who that is. He played 7 minutes and 41s. But Burns and no Carlson. Reimer has kind of reinvented himself there in San Jose. But, oh, let's see. It says Merkley got a goal. And then if you look at the stats page, it says it was. Oh, no, there it is, a goal. Yeah. Merkley got his first goal last night. He looked really good. Merkley looked really good. That was a guy who had, yeah, I had a feeling of that, CL. I had a feeling of that. But first of all, let me finish with Merkley. He was very immature. Skill coming out of his yin yang, but apparently in junior, everybody hated him. And he ticked off the coach, and he got, he did, like, he was really bad, but it sounds like he's starting to mature a little bit, and he looks slick. Watch Merkley in San Jose. They're going to have a crazy offensive defense there. Crazy. Carlson, Burns, Merkley. The CHL files affidavits in response to. Oh, okay. I had a feeling that was their first game back off of a road trip. Arizona is playing now. This coach Tierney has got them playing hard, and they sort of playing like they're believing in themselves a little bit. If they had any offense, they could win some games. But Philly looked like a team that came back off of a long road trip the first two periods for sure. But it seems like a lot of the guys in Arizona, they're just not well conditioned either, and they crack in the third period all the time. Bench bums. What's bench bums, Lauren? Yeah, I was a little worried about that one. I still had Philadelphia, but even right to the third, I liked Philadelphia. But I had a feeling that Arizona would crumble. That they tend to do that. Ghost, welcome back with booze. Well, that's Philadelphia for you. They like to boo. He's looking a lot better in Arizona now, but his defense is deplorable. His defense is Barry level. Still terrible. Oh, Burns, bench bums. Okay. Yeah, I know, but when his offense is flowing and he's skating, basically acting like another forward from the defense, his offense makes up for his defensive problems. And that was the problem, is up before last year it wasn't. And when their energy was terrible, when their energy was horrible, they weren't it wasn't doing that. But this year they got their flow going. And he looked really good. He was controlling the play a lot last night. He was and that was against Buffalo. Buffalo looks like they're starting to realize that they're Buffalo. Teams are not going to be taking them lightly for the next little while, I don't think. Oh my gosh, was Hamilton out last night? Jeez, if I would have known that, yeah, there were some surprises last night, injuries that I didn't see. Was he out last night? Yeah, take a look. I probably would have been off of New Jersey if I would have known Hamilton was out. Jeez. No, he was in, but he got injured last night. He only played 8 minutes and 22 seconds. Well, that explains it. that explains why Anaheim came back in that game, because he's everything to that team right now. As Hamilton goes, it seems that so does that team. But Ghost being welcomed back with booze. Yeah, well, he was just bad in Philly for a long time. It was injury and then confidence and then, and it's the opposition. It's the opposition. You want to throw them off. Philadelphia fans are good that way. They don't pull any punches. They want to give their team the greatest advantage possible, except for when they're booing their team. But yeah, Dawson Mercer is playing excellent. It doesn't look like he's going to be sent down in New Jersey. And that's exactly. He looks like a young Wheeler. He looks like a young Wheeler. He's going to be. They got a great one in Mercer there. Man, oh man. Yeah. They like to boo. Give them a reason to boo in Philadelphia, and they'll do it. Frick, they'll boo the guy who sings the national anthem if they're feeling it. Yeah, that's true. But you got to admit they did play. Arizona came out strong. They played. They're starting to play a cycle. They're starting to gel a little bit. And Philadelphia was kind of back on their heels the first little bit. Fortunately, Carter. I think one thing that's kind of left right now is that Carter Hart is playing very, very well. Thank God for that. Carter Hart playing well is everything for Philadelphia, and that's a sigh of relief right there. I was pretty sure he would. I think most people thought he would rebound all right. And he certainly is. He looks fantastic. By the way, guys, I got to cut out a bit early today. I got to pick up my wife's got a doctor's appointment. So just so you know, I'll be cutting out a little early today. Hopefully Hamilton's not out for too long, because they're in big trouble. Like, they're in trouble if Hamilton's out anytime. New Jersey just can't seem to get things going. Goaltenders are injured. Blackwood is back, and they put Wedgwood on waivers, which I'm pretty sure nobody's going to pick him up. He certainly didn't put any give people much confidence there in his games he played in New Jersey. The Canucks we got to talk about too. I went to bed before the end of this game, but that was probably the best game the Canucks have played all season, and I'm getting a little worried about the Rangers. I'm getting a little worried about the Rangers. Their defense just doesn't seem to be holding out. They got up 2 yesterday, and then Vancouver decided to turn it on, and they were like, when I was pretty sure they were going to lose that game. It's going to be a huge deal when they win their first game, and it's coming. Let's take a look at Arizona's future here and see what they got. Yeah, Kyle Beach situation. Yeah, Cheveldayoff yesterday came out and said, like, okay, this is what I got from the Cheveldayoff situation yesterday. He was in a meeting. Apparently there was another meeting that he doesn't know anything about. Like, he didn't know anything about, because he wasn't a senior guy. But he said that the meeting that they were talking about, he heard nothing to say that anything had really happened. What was told to him, apparently, and everybody that was in that meeting, was that there was a texting situation that happened between the two. Beach was very unhappy about it and stuff like that. But it never, like, inappropriate texting or something like that. but nothing to do with sexual assault or anything like that in that particular meeting. So what took place that got Quenneville fired then? Because he said that he didn't think anybody at the time of that in that meeting, anybody would have come out of that meeting thinking that there was something that happened like what happened. So what happened? Why did Quenneville know this? We hear about, well, that can happen. I could see that happening. A guy can take a long time before he comes out with it. And he was putting it out there as he was putting it out there as oh, what was I going to say? Oh, I lost my train of thought just like that. Oh, he was putting out there as like not saying that he was Kyle Beeps, that was John Doe or whatever for a while, saying that these things were happening. And I have a feeling there was some things happening behind the scenes leading up to that. So he was probably doing it as John Doe, and then when he felt that it wasn't going anywhere, he he came out and did what he did. The other thing was that there's other issues going on right now where the league said that they had talked to certain people about other incidents that are happening, and I don't know the insides of them at all. And those people are coming out and saying, we haven't been talked to. I don't know what they're talking about. That's just like, they haven't talked to us at all. And those lawyers, and that there's people in those camps that are questioning the way the league has handled all of this as well. So it's going to go on and on and on here, I think. It's going to go on and on and on. But it is 10 years later, and that makes it difficult. But I don't know. I mean, you're talking about that kind of whatever that assault is. I know people that I, personally that have gone through things like that, and you kind of hope it goes away. You don't. It's a scary thing to come out and say that this happened or that happened. People worry about what people are going to think of them, just like maybe people are right now. Maybe you, John, or whatever, could be thinking, especially when it appears that he's going for a civil suit. So now you're talking financial, and then everybody, alarm bells go off and stuff like that. Well, I wouldn't want Gary Bettman going. I'm not going to count out the Penguins. I had them missing the playoffs this year. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Crosby's now gone on COVID. Did you hear about that? Crosby's out with COVID and Demelin. So now they're going to have to win without Demelin. I don't know. I'll say that lineup shouldn't be winning, but it'll probably win. I don't know. It hasn't won the last couple games. It hasn't won the last couple games, so. Yeah, they want Gary Bettman gone. Well, I don't know. However, this handled this it would be about this situation because I think Gary Bettman has done fantastic up until now. The question is, did the league know anything about this? That I haven't even brought that up. Did the league? I mean, you can hear all the rumors that came around that people thought that I did bring up that management should have known. But I'm also bringing up, should the league have known? Should the league have heard these rumors back then? Like, when did the league find out about this and what did they do about it? That is a really good question. No, I won't be leaving. I'll be leaving at about quarter, maybe 20 to 3, somewhere around there. 20 to 3, quarter to 3, something like that. My wife has a doctor's appointment, so. But what did the league know? Like, it's easy to sit there and say, Quenneville, you're fired, and this person's fired, and all that stuff like that. But, you know, probably sooner than later, the light's going to shine back on them. And there's going to be questions. First of all, they're looking at the union representative, their union leader, and the players are questioning what he knew, and they're going to be looking at that. That's going to be tough because is there anybody with more heavier lawyers than the union guys? So the other thing is apparently the Chicago Blackhawks are doing this with the idea that, or knowing that they would win the court case if they went to court. If they went to court, they believe they got an ironclad case against Beach that they would win the court case. So the way they're playing it out, or maybe it's actually true, is that, you know, we're doing this out of the kindness of our hearts. We're doing this because we think it's the right thing to do. Flyers tomorrow. Okay. Who are the Flyers playing tomorrow before I look it up? Let's go back to talking about hockey here. That's going to go on and on, that issue. Okay, Philadelphia tomorrow is playing, Pittsburgh. Oh, yeah. So is that why somebody asked me the question? Because that's going to be, I mean, it's always a tough game against Pittsburgh, but no Demelin and no Crosby tomorrow for Philadelphia. As far as I'm concerned, they got to be all over that game, and they got to be better than they were against Arizona. Isn't it at home? Where is my no, not that. There it is. It's yeah, no, Penguins. Oh, they're on the road. They're going to Pittsburgh to play that game. Carter Hart against Jari. I got to think Philadelphia will win that game. I got to think it. And there's got to be a time when it finally makes things start making sense, and Pittsburgh starts losing games with a roster they shouldn't be winning with. Yeah, it could be a PR disaster too. It could be a PR disaster. Yeah, you're right, Lauren. So they're trying to make themselves seem like they're just being very transparent, but I don't believe it. I believe they knew that was going on up above them before all of that, and I think a lot of people are losing their jobs right now. My lean is, I don't know for sure, but I don't think Quenneville and the gang knew as much as they think, and I think ownership, I think the Wirtzes knew everything. And the way they handled it is brutal, and now they're doing damage control to make themselves look good now. But there's got to be an investigation to how much they knew then. And I imagine even then they washed their hands. They were smart enough to make it so you couldn't find out about it. Yeah, well, that's the thing that I'm concerned about today against Carolina. If it wasn't Carolina, I'd probably be on Chicago today. If it was, I'm, because it's Carolina, I think Carolina will probably take that game, but I don't think that's going to be an easy out at all. And I'm going to be on Chicago a lot more right now for the next little while. Marc-Andre Fleury is playing unbelievable right now. And you know, that's why he could win the game all by himself tonight. Penguins want Jack Eichel. I wouldn't doubt if they jumped in the ring, but I just don't see how they have the pieces to be able to get him, John. It would be a great move if they could swing it, because they got to rebuild, and what better way to rebuild than a franchise player like Jack Eichel to start off with. But I just don't think they have the pieces to do it. They would have to trade players that they'd have to, like Gunsel would have to be part of that deal, I would think. They don't have any young players that Buffalo is going to be doing backflips over to get. You know, maybe Kapanen, just off the top of my head here. You know, I just don't see them being able to compete with the likes of Vegas and Anaheim for something like that. They don't have enough youth in that lineup to be able to do it. Well, yeah, the Flames and Knights are the ones that are trying to make it work. And I think that it's very possible. We were talking about that yesterday. I could see Calgary losing out, but there being a three-way deal there. Because I think Calgary would like to improve on Backstrom. So I could see a three-way deal somehow where Vegas gets Eichel, but Calgary's in the mix to be able to be part of that package, and somehow they get a center. Like, I think they would be very high on Carlson. So something like they'll give Monahan doesn't look like the guy. Maybe Buffalo gets Backstrom. Let's look at it this way. Buffalo gets Backstrom. Buffalo would get Backstrom. They'd have to give heavy for that. Buffalo would get more out of more assets if they did something like that, I think. They go Vegas Golden Knights. From the Vegas Golden Knights, Carlson, who's injured right now, or is he on COVID protocol? He's out for 6 weeks right now. So, I mean, that deal makes it difficult. But let's say, let's say he's not. Let's say they give up Carlson to Calgary. Calgary gives up Backstrom to Buffalo, who would give them the kind of attitude they're looking for. It's not a huge play. What's his salary like? Oh, Jari, that's it. Calgary would give Jari up. Calgary gives Buffalo Jari. They don't give him Backstrom. They give Buffalo Jari. That's what it would be. Carlson. So they would get Jari from Calgary and say Juuso Valimaki, who's struggling to make the lineup there in Calgary, who's got lots of talent. He's only 22 years old, big kid. Jari and Juuso Valimaki, and maybe a first-round pick. All right? So they get Jari, who's looking really good in junior right now. Juuso Valimaki looks like he's going to be a good, or Zari, I should say. How is Zari doing? I think this is how it's going to play out. I really think it's going to be a three-way deal. Oh, wait, it shows that he's not playing right now. What's going on with Zari? Zari's not playing in the WHL right now? That's weird. I got to look into that. I wonder if he's injured or something. No, I think they can get it, but it's going to be a three-way deal. Basically, so Carlson would go to, and then Vegas then would give Smith. Who was I hearing about that? Smith, the first round pick. They don't want to give Krebs. That's the big thing. They don't want to give Krebs. They give Riley Smith, who would turn into a second round pick. I heard Shea Theodore was one of the ones that they were looking at. But I don't know. That would thin out their defense quite a bit. It's almost got to be dollar for dollar, though. Maybe it is Shea Theodore. Smith, Theodore, or Alex Tuck. Smith, because Tuck's going to be out for 6 months anyways. Smith, Tuck, and some prospects and picks. And then Calgary would give Valimaki, Zari, and a first-round pick. They would get Carlson, and Vegas would get Eichel. So Buffalo would get Smith, which would probably turn into a second-round pick. Tuck, who isn't going to play for 6 months, but they're not too worried about that. And I just love Tuck. Love Tuck. I'd have to look at Vegas's prospect pool to see who they would give up for a prospect. And then Valimaki. Who else did I say from Calgary? Oh, Zari. And prospects for them. So they would get like a huge pool of prospects, picks, and players. And Calgary would get their second line center that they really need, I think. And a guy that can play hard, play fast, really good, and give them a good opportunity to maybe be a contender, I suppose. I don't think Arizona goes after Eichel. They're in dollar management right now. Arizona wants to be bottom of the cap, just draft, and when their new building comes in, they can fill that building, and then they'll start thinking about. I mean, I know these owners make millions of dollars or billionaires or whatever, but it's still a business. Nobody likes to lose millions of dollars. Like Arizona's losing huge. I don't think Arizona would go after Jack Eichel. No, I think they'll just keep their picks. Try to get guys like Shane Wright and Bedard and stuff like that. I don't think that, and that, in that way, you're getting guys that are on their ELCs, so you don't have to pay them a lot. And once that building starts being full, then they can start making some money. That's what I think Arizona's going to do. I don't think. Now, if I'm Anaheim, I'm in. And Anaheim is the one that is really kind of, to me, sitting in the weeds there, because they could really use a guy that could sell tickets, a name that could sell tickets there in Anaheim. I don't think Zegras would be part of that package, though. I don't think they're doing that deal with Zegras part of that package. Zegras it would be the guy I'd want if I was Buffalo for sure, but I don't think it would be. They may be willing to give up their first next year. Lundestrom, guys like Jones, stuff like that, a big package like that. But I don't think that they would, I don't think Zegras could be part of that deal. Yeah, the thing is they got that guy from Florida in the Reinhardt trade, Weichel. So, what was his name? That's the guy. That's who they're pegging for their future right now. They got two young goaltenders actually. I don't know how. We'll see. I wonder how that other one is doing in the minors right now. Goalie prospects. Devin Levi. Wonder, is he playing right now? Devin Levi in the NCAA. Devin Levi in the NCAA is putting up a 1.76 and a 9.40 in 8 games already, playing for Northeastern University. That's spectacular numbers. Go read what you said. If I was Adams trading Eichel to the Flames, oh, you're not getting that much, man. Yeah, I'd love to get that, but there's no way. I wouldn't do that right now in Calgary. And I love Eichel. But Mangiapane and Tkachuk, wow. The only way I see Tkachuk going is if they think he's not going to re-sign. And there has been rumblings about that. There has been rumblings about that. But that's about the only. I don't know. Tkachuk is like you know how I am with the Tkachuks. I don't think they want to give up that much off their roster. I mean, I would do it straight across probably. I would wince while I was doing it, but I would do it straight across. But Mangiapane, man, that guy is just, I love that guy. Trying to think, who would you compare Mangiapane to right now? Like an old player somebody's gonna come to me that maybe like he was a center, a winger that played like Mangiapane. You for Draisaitl? Oh, whoo, wow! Mangiapane, Tkachuk, Wolf in the first. But like I said, I don't know if they're going to be going crazy for a goaltender right now. They got that Devin Levi guy. Looks like he's going to be a beast. They're going to look like geniuses if they give, because the at first look, that trade for Devin Levi, it was like, okay, he's a good prospect or whatever, but he is crushing it. And if he's as good as he looks like he is in college, that deal might not actually end up being that bad. And you know what? It worked for Florida too, except I don't think Florida's using Reinhart correctly. I think Reinhart should be playing center, and maybe they will now because Bennett is injured, right? That's the one thing about the Carolina-Florida game. Bennett is injured, I believe, and he still is, I think. I would do that deal that I just said. Connor Zary. You get Connor Zary, Smith, whatever prospect from Vegas, first round picks from both Calgary and Las Vegas, Valimaki. There had to be more for Vegas there, though. Vegas is the one that's holding it up, trying to find out where, trying to get something that makes sense out of Vegas. But Vegas would be, I mean, just think of that line. Eichel, Pacioretty, and Stone. They would have a line that could go up against the top line of Colorado there. And, all the top lines in the league. They do have Reinhart in the middle. They have Reinhart playing center with Huberdeau and Tippett. Watch out. Watch out. Lundell should be back by then. I'm telling you, Reinhart with Huberdeau that could be very dangerous. I'm going to share this out. Where did everybody go? Yeah. If he wanted Draisaitl, that's probably sort of what they would have to give up. Yeah, it would have to be something pretty spectacular like that for sure. I'm just sharing this out, guys. Sorry. There we go. Mason McTavish, I wouldn't. Yeah, that would be a tough one. That would be a tough one. Mason McTavish might do it. The way that kid looks, my gosh, he looks like a young Getzlaff. That might do it if they want to do it. If they put that out there right now, Mason McTavish straight across. I think Buffalo might do it. Big centers like that are hard to find, man. Yeah, that would be what it'd be worth. Draisaitl, I don't even know. It would be absolutely absurd, the amount. Yeah, believe it or not, back in the day, before they signed Draisaitl, I was entertaining the idea that they would trade Draisaitl instead of signing him so they have depth. And I remember the package I had, I'm trying to remember what it was, but it actually would have turned out pretty good. They would have had a crap load of depth right now. But I can't remember what it was now. I should have wrote it all. I should write this stuff down. I know with Toronto, I was saying to trade Marner before they signed him. Before they signed him to the Islanders, which is funny because they picked up Tavares. And right now they would have Wahlstrom and if they would have did it, and I think that the Islanders would have did this at the time. Where's the Islanders here? They would have had Wahlstrom, Noah Dobson, and Wahlstrom, Noah Dobson, Josh Bailey, something like that. Wahlstrom, Bailey, Dobson, and and other picks. I can't remember who the other guy was, but they would have had a lot more depth right now. I don't know if they would have been better, honestly, but Noah Dobson would look pretty good in Toronto right now. I know that. No, at the time I was just looking at for cap reasons, but the packages I was talking about were enormous, and it would have looked it would have looked really good right now, as long as they drafted properly, or drafted in the right spots and all that. I believe that was just before the 2000. When did let me see when Marner signed that contract. Oh no, that was Draisaitl. That's right. When did Draisaitl? I was going to trade Draisaitl. I mean, I didn't love it. I didn't want to lose him, but I thought when you had McDavid already there, if you could get some team depth, like a whole crazy package back for Draisaitl. Oh, he signed it in 2017-18. So it was that year. And it was just for an enormous package of players from everybody. Yeah, 2000. It was for an enormous package of players. They would have been doing all right now if they would have made that deal. Then I don't. Would they be doing much better? I'm not sure. They would have had more cap space. So and they would have had a whole crap load of prospects. I know they would have been a lot deeper right now. Yeah, Sidney Crosby tested positive for COVID now, and Demelin too. So they're hurting again. This keep on doing it. I'm telling. It's going to answer my quest to get Sullivan his first Jack Adams. They'll probably end up making the playoffs and he'll finally get his first Jack Adams. I'm sure Crosby's vaccinated. But I mean, everybody should have known that the vaccination was not going to stop you from getting COVID. It was just going to lessen it, like a flu vaccination. It's basically like a flu vaccination. It's a bugger, that thing. It morphs and all that kind of stuff like that. So that'll be going on for a while yet. I'm pretty sure. That'll be going on for a while yet. But what's Pittsburgh going to look like now? Well, it's going to look like they always did before because they were out with these guys. The thing is on defense now without Demelin. Yeah, Jeff Carter with Heinen and Gunsel. Zucker with Rodriguez and Kapanen. That's enough for Pittsburgh. They'll win with that. Heck, it's almost a lineup. But now they got to play Joseph Pierre-Oliver up, who hasn't played yet this year. Juuso Riikola and Mark Friedman as your second and third pair. And no Crosby, no Demelin, Chad Ruhwedel, and Peterson all out. Should Philadelphia win against that lineup? Absolutely, they should win with that lineup. So are they going to? Probably not. Yeah, it's a virus, and it will do what viruses do. But the thing is, though, with that virus is if you don't get, apparently it seems like, anyways, the vaccination will help you just get like a bad flu rather than, be in the hospital. So you should be able to get over it all right, a lot better. Just like if you get a flu, people that get vaccines still get the flu. It's less often and takes and not quite as damaging to the system. Yeah, I'm not an expert, Lauren, so I can't really say, but I know my wife got it, and she's fairly healthy. She's I would say she's very healthy, and it kicked her butt pretty good. The funny thing is I go to the gym. I've lost tons of weight. I used to be 295 pounds. And I go to the gym, I I'm constantly working on with my diet. I don't eat sugar at all. No sugar in my body system at all. So I don't eat sugar, all of that. And I before she found out, because what happened with my wife was she got vaccinated, or not vaccinated. She got sick, but she was tested before she got sick, and it came up not that you didn't have no, she had symptoms, and it came up that she didn't have COVID, but it was a false. It wasn't right, and they retested her again, and she found out she did. Now I've been sleeping in the bed with her for 4 days during that time, and I never got it. I never got it. Like, I never got it at all. I wasn't a carrier. I didn't get it and have no effects. I literally did not get it at all. If you have vaccines, you won't die. That's what they're saying, yeah. I'm going to go heat up my coffee here for a second, guys, and we'll come back and talk more hockey. Be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Thanks for not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm sure it does. The flu kills more people than cancer does. So there you go. All right, so more things. Okay, more things on the games. Now we'll talk about the games tonight. I didn't really get into all the games yesterday, but talking about the games tonight, we already talked about Edmonton and Nashville. I think that if they get outworked, they lose. They can't get outworked. The Predators can pin you in. Their forwards have got to come back against the Predators, because their defense, I could see them coughing out the puck to Nashville all over the place. Nashville plays an anticipation game. they're going to be all over you when you're trying to make passes and all that kind of stuff like that. Hines has got them playing very well with anticipation. I'm a little bit, I'm still leaning Edmonton because that top six could. There's just too much firepower there. But and Nashville's on a back-to-back, and they got their backup in. But if it was not that case right now, if Nashville was just coming in fresh against Edmonton, I'd probably take Nashville. I would probably take Nashville. But as it stands, I got to go with Edmonton tonight. If they lose, though, it won't surprise me. It won't surprise me. That team is going to go through a rough patch. They've been getting pretty fortunate. They've been getting teams on back-to-backs, all of that. But that's all going to turn around, and they're going to be the ones that are doing it. And when that happens, we'll see what happens. Because I think the defense for the Oilers is probably bottom 6 or 7 in the league at least. It's so bad. It's that bad. Especially without Smith in. Koskinen is, some days he's fantastic, some days he's meh. These are tough games tonight. And Forsberg's out too. Like, they've been getting so fortunate to have big guys be out as soon as they play them. With Forsberg being out tonight, it's going to be tough for them to score, even if they get lots of shots. We talked about Carolina a lot. The Blue Jackets and Avalanche. I know a lot of people are going the Blue Jackets here in this game, and I could see it with Merzlikins in, but now that it's Korpisalo, I'm a little questionable. Johansson, I think both of them are going to play like a super defensive game. I would think. I got under on this game, but I was thinking that was Merzlikins that was going to be in. I don't know why Columbus should be using Merzlikins in this game. Markstrom is killing it this year, absolutely. The last game maybe not his best, but he's putting up. He did that last year too, though. In the first 10 or 15 games, he was like getting talks about winning a Vezina and all that kind of stuff like that. But so we'll see what his longevity is like. Well, and the team wasn't stopped playing well in front of him too. So that tends to go like that. There's not too many guys that can stop pucks like crazy, and still win games for you, like Shesterkin and Fleury and stuff like that. If the team's not playing well in front of Markstrom, he tends to cave a little bit. But yeah, the teams were playing well in front of him, and he's looking really good. Sutter's a smart coach, and he knows how to have his team play a certain way in front of whatever goaltender is there, so you cover up their weaknesses. That's what great coaches do. Barry Trotz does it. Tortorella does it well. Sullivan does it amazing when you think about, how bad Jari can be. They don't have the greatest goaltending in Pittsburgh. And he keeps on coming back, coming with wins. So that's got it. There's systems in place that can cover up goaltenders' weaknesses. And that's why I think Colorado is going to play not their normal type of game tonight. I think they still possibly pull that out. Mostly because Columbus has just had collapses in every single game they have. They have collapses in their own zone, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're working with different defense partners. Valentino came into the house. Thanks for coming in, Valentino. Right on. Go Habs, go. Yeah, you love your Canadians. Not playing tonight, but But that's going to be like we're talking some pretty significant. Rantanen is out. Burakovsky is out. Makar is out for Colorado. Um, he's not doing bad. I think the whole team is playing well. The people that were poo-pooing Mr. Dallas Eakins there, you might want to take another look. He has that team going, believing in themselves. And I think a lot of that can go with Trevor Zegras too. Already, for sure the future captain of that team. Trevor Zegras has got an energy about him of like a winning energy about him that breeds champions. He doesn't even know what the word lose means. Zegras is unbelievably confident. He believes in himself, and he instills in his teammates a belief in themselves as well. I think that guy is going to be an amazing player for that team for a long time. One of the greatest captains, Jonathan Toews, but not serious. Like, he's not all serious about it. Like, they call Jonathan Toews Mr. Serious. He's very kind of loosey-goosey, but very confident at the same time. Saying things in junior, like when they were going up against the United States, they were asking him about it, and he's like, well, we're going to win. They haven't seen, he actually said, we're going to win. They haven't seen a team like us yet. Like, that's the way he talks, man. Like, he doesn't take a losing attitude at all. Like, he doesn't get it. If he had a teammate on his team that said, this is going to be a tough game, he's going to be like, what are you talking about? We're the Ducks, man. We're going to kick their butt. Who's playing tonight? The games tonight are Predators versus Oilers, Hurricanes versus Blackhawks, Blue Jackets, Avalanche, and finally the Blues versus the Kings. And the Blues are going to be without Braden Shen, apparently. Which is, I don't know what to do with this game. The Kings are without players as well. Kopitar could have a heyday in this one. They're going to have like Thomas playing number one center there. But then LA, I'm thinking LA has a good chance, and they put Quick in. They freaking put Quick in. Now all of a sudden I'm off of them. That's what I like. That game could go any which way. If LA gets up early, I think St. Louis will have trouble getting it together and scoring because they're going to be playing with all different lineups, a different lineup than they have for a while. Let me see if that's still there. Braden Shen, undisclosed injury apparently. So you got Robert Thomas, Bozak, Dakota Joshua, and Jake Neighbors was a scratch. He'll probably come in now. They're pretty weak up the middle tonight. No Ryan O'Reilly. I would say St. Louis's defense is outperforming what I thought they would, though. Yeah, Thomas will be playing there on the number one center role today. Huge game for him to be able to get, really put his mark on this team. He's got an opportunity to be the next guy up and get some confidence with the coach. Had a bad year last year. Is looking pretty good this year. A lot better than he was last year. Last year, he was just a disaster. He's got 6 assists in 7 games. He's got it, but I don't know. I love the way Tarasenko's playing right now. David Perron's got that one-shot offense that can put a game away at any time. And right now, I thought LA was going to be a lot better than they were. And without Drew Doughty, it makes it pretty tough on them. I think they won their last game, though, didn't they? On paper, Kopitar and Philip Danault should have a heyday with that center group, though. And they should be able to control the play in the offensive zone. They should be able to Danault should be able to shut down Thomas no problems. And that leaves Kopitar with a lot. But the thing is, again, just throw another chink in there. Victor Arvidsson is been put on COVID protocol. So now you've got Elias Anderson playing on that wing. I was even looking at an under here, but again, they put Quick in again. Who's out for the Colorado Avalanche? Like it's a fairly long list out there for out for Colorado. By the way, I did put some picks in today on YouTube, so you might want to check those out. As far as I know, Burakovsky, Rantanen, Nichushkin, Makar, and I don't know if will Pavel Francouz ever play another game in the NHL? Like, guy's injured so often. But no Burakovsky, no Rantanen, no Makar. They're going to be rolling out Landeskog, McKinnon, and JT Compher. Then Sampo Ranta, who probably should be in the minors right now. He's not producing much offensively at all. Pretty big guy. I mean, he doesn't hurt the team. With Nazem Kadri and Logan O'Connor as your second line, and then you got to bring the kid Kaut up to the third line with Joust and Helm, and then Kiefer Sherwood with Magna and McDonald. Man, that doesn't look good. With Makar out, they got Curtis McDermott on the top line. What's that all about? With Byram. And Gerard with Eric Johnson and Johnson with Murray. And then Johansson as the backup. Like, oh, boy. That's tough. I think I know what I'm going to do with that game, though. I have an idea what I'm going to do with that game. Kadri is an idiot. Well, at least he's not getting... So far, he's gone 10 games without getting suspended anyways. But I think he's got a contract coming up, too. No, sorry, I love Wilson. Cassian, I wouldn't have on my team because he can't play defense worth a damn. And I wouldn't have anybody on my team, and this is what I love about Carolina, I wouldn't have anybody on my team that couldn't play defense worth a damn on the bottom six. The Kadri's fiery, whatever he does, that's whatever. I'm not really too concerned about that, but I wouldn't have them on there. They do their jobs, that's what I mean. Max Domi is out again, yeah. I would have Marchand on my team anytime, though. I didn't like the licking incident any more than anybody else, but those guys throw people off their games. That's what he's there for. He's there to get them their mind focused on things other than the game, and they do a good job of it. Even Luch. Luch, when he was a Boston Bruin, I would like when in his heyday, I would have him on my team all day long. He was fantastic. Is he going to go over the line sometimes? Yeah, but Kadri probably not though. Kadri is a guy that I don't want guys on my team that the players you play with don't really like all that much, and Kadri is not good that way. Yeah, Connor Ingram. That's why I'm leaning Edmonton. Ingram didn't really put even that great of numbers up in the minors, so you're going up against that firing squad of the Oilers with Draisaitl and stuff like that. If they get in on some breakaways and stuff like that, Connor Ingram is probably not going to be the guy that's going to shut that down. Nashville's pretty good of making it so that doesn't happen, but we're talking about the Edmonton Oilers here. Like, it's the problem. What I see too often with teams, though, I think, is that you get a guy like Ingram. All you can't just like barrel away from the blue line and try to tip it all day long and stuff like that. Like you can take open shots against guys like that. So from somewhere in the hash marks, open shot. That's what you want with Connor Ingram, because he's going to let a fair amount of rebounds out that you normally wouldn't get from a guy like Saros or somebody like that. But from the blue line, just about any NHL goaltender is not going to leave out too many rebounds. Unless, you can get lucky with them. But I'm doing that type of play if Saros is in net. If Saros is in net, then I'll do a lot more stuff from the blue line. Trying to get it in, blind him a little bit, have the puck fall down, and then you need a guy like Mangiapane to get on it and take a shot from the slot area, stuff like that. But watch, the Oilers will do it against this Ingram guy, and he'll start getting some confidence because he's getting some pucks on his pads, and then he'll start looking good. No, he's never going to be great defensively, but he's good enough offensively to make up for his defense. But he'll never be great defensively, D'Angelo. But his offense, if you can pull 70 points a season or something like that, and you can move the puck out like D'Angelo can, that's the thing. He's not a guy that's going to strip the puck off of their stick. Let me look at Carolina, and who are they? Oh, actually, I'll just tell you. Who are they playing D'Angelo with? And you can see the difference of like a team like Edmonton, how they use guys like D'Angelo. Edmonton doesn't have anybody like. Who are they playing him with, Lauren? You'll know because you watch every single game all the time. You got to play him with a good, strong defensive player and a guy that can get the puck on his stick. Oh, there you go. He's being played with Slavin. Brilliant. Couldn't put him in a better position than that. Either Pesce or Slavin is fine. Either Pesce or Slavin. But you put him in the best position possible to get up into offense. And Slavin is maybe one of the best in the league. Maybe Hedman might be better. But so you push him up into offense and let him play where he is in his element, which is in the offensive zone. And when D'Angelo is playing in the offensive zone, I think he's a magician. I love the guy. I've loved the guy for a long time. I don't know about whatever his antics were and all that kind of stuff like that. But on the ice, he's great. And, that's a perfect place. Put him in the best position possible. And then Slavin can kind of help him out on the bench with, in this situation. I know you can't do this because you're not that type of player and all that stuff like that. But he can help him work on him to be better defensively. Am I fading out on you now? Look at that. Just like that. Jonathan Bernier wasn't great last night. But New Jersey's defense wasn't great last night. That was a team that they should. That was a game that they should have won. And you got a young team like that. Consistency seems to always be the issue for a while. They didn't play consistency, and then when they lose Hamilton, if they lost Hamilton after 8 minutes, and then everything fell apart. Like Hamilton has been playing absolutely amazing for them. I'll be leaving probably about 10 minutes, something like that. I think if New Jersey, I still think New Jersey will get it together. There's so many good pieces there. My gosh. I know one thing. I wouldn't be looking to rebuild it much longer for New Jersey. And it doesn't look like they're going to. They grabbed Hamilton. Next year, they'll probably add more to that group and become even better. Yeah, I got to go pick up I got to pick up Caroline and take her to a doctor a little earlier today. So she's got to get off early. She's got an appointment. So I got to bail out a little sooner than usual. I think Calgary is going to be really interesting what Calgary does for the next little while. Like you said, you're thinking that Eichel would be there. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think Vegas is just too. Vegas is going to get Eichel. I'm almost positive of it. They're the one most driven and willing to take the biggest risk right now, as they always are, to get that player. If they don't get Eichel or something like that, I think they know they're not good enough to win right now. And they're quite obviously all in to try to win right now. So I think Vegas will do it, but I just think it'll be a three-way trade. The only one, I think Anaheim could do it too. I think Anaheim could go up and say, okay, what's Vegas offering you? You know, what's this three-way trade look like? Or whatever that you're doing, and say, okay, first next year, that'll perk their ears up, giving up next year's first. But maybe not, because Anaheim's playing so well. Buffalo's like, I don't know. You're not as bad as we thought you were going to be. You're in a weak division. That first might not look too good. So that might be what puts. Now, if maybe a first next year, but you have to figure that with Eichel, they're going to be a lot stronger. So I think that puts them out. If they were sucking hard this year, then possibly they might have a chance. But I think Vegas when they want something, they go out and get it, and they ask questions later. So yeah, Frederik Andersen is playing well. I don't think there was ever a question whether Frederik Andersen was going to play well if he was healthy. I don't think there was ever a question of that. There was just a question of whether he was healthy. And I have to figure they must have had some insight on his health and talking to doctors and stuff like that. And that's really what the Eichel trade is going to be about, right, too, right? Like, I'm not doing that trade if my doctor's like, I don't know how he's going to be afterwards. But if the team doctors are saying, oh, yeah, that's surgery, he should be fine. And from what I've heard, that same surgery has been done for MMA fighters, for players and football players and stuff. And they've come back like a very high percentage of the time and been every bit as good as they were before. Sometimes better, because apparently players tend to struggle with this and keep on going with it for a long time, hoping that they don't need surgery. And that seems what happened with Eichel too. it seems to be that that's what happened with Eichel. Like he was playing with this as well. And when you consider the points he put up playing with Buffalo, with the injury, how good is he going to be if he comes back from that when he comes back from that surgery? And as it appears to be that they can come back as good as ever, that's so enticing for teams. And for Vegas, that Vegas actually, it works so well because if they do have to do a rebuild in a couple of years, which I think they likely will, you still got Eichel there, so you can still build around Eichel, and because he's still young enough to do that. Marcus Hunt, wow, thanks for coming in, buddy. You're catching me a little late too. I got to pick up my wife today, so I got to leave out a little early. Normally, I'd be talking to you for the next 25 minutes, but well, there's quotes around the locker room problem, but I don't know, from ex players, I don't hear anything like that, or haven't heard anything about that. Jonathan Duran's out again. He had a concussion last night, or they were worried about a concussion, but he's feeling better today, so we'll see what happens with that. Good for Montreal, actually. They should have everybody get injured there. And I think it is, yeah. My leaning is that Eichel's not the problem there. Like, was the talk that O'Reilly was a problem. He didn't seem to be the problem. Goes to St. Louis and wins a cup the very next year. Well, you're in pain all the time, and you're the leader, and you got a sinking ship that you're trying to right, and you're only, it was just poorly run franchise, but I do like what Adams is doing right now, so. You got to like what Adams is doing right now in Buffalo. He's kind of, and I think that's the big thing with him is he's going to be looking at character and stuff like that. Guys with strong character. He's not going to do something like what Murray did and bring in a guy like Kane. Imagine that. We just said that, Kane sucks the life out of a room. You got an organization that's been floundering like crazy. And, morale is down and everything like that. And they go out and get Kane. Kane. What a horrible move that was. Look what he did in San Jose. And I imagine he was still doing that in Buffalo and was even younger while he was doing it. So, and then if you're Eichel, you're looking at it as well going, why did we bring this guy in here? Like when he's in there and he's arrogant, miserable jerk to everybody. And you're thinking, is this organization, what is this It's got to totally be defeating for anybody. Reinhardt, all those guys that were there. You got to be looking at it thinking this is just a clown show in this place. As much as you want to be positive, that it's pretty tough to be positive when you're seeing stuff like that going on. Kane is the man, yeah, for sure. Best U.S. born player ever. Yeah, he's suspended 21 games. But from what I've heard, he's not going back to San Jose no matter what. From what I heard, he's not going back to San Jose after his suspension. So they got to buy him out, man. That's a rough buyout. But I just, he's going to have to pretty much beg his way back into that lineup. And it's going to be on a very short leash where if his attitude is not changed in miraculous ways, he's going to have to follow every team rule, be early for practices and all that kind of stuff like that, or he'll be gone if he ever indeed goes back. And things like this can change a person. I don't think a person's not changeable. Possibly this could all have humbled them down. One of the things for sure that is at least something to consider is that he did go to rehab for his gambling problem. And anybody that goes there, it's more than just, they focus on personality problems, past problems, all that kind of stuff like that. And generally speaking, people that come out of those things come out a lot different than when they went in. So I'm not going to sell the guy short. I'm not going to sell the guy off. I mean, I'm not going to say that he's not going to be not going to change, but he's going to have to show significant. He's going to have to build a lot of trust up to ever go back into that room. But Kane is incredible. Like at this stage of his career, he's terrible defensively. But Kane brings in an energy to a team that was obvious in Chicago. He's like Trevor Zegras. Trevor Zegras is like Kane in that way. Like they just don't understand losing. It doesn't compute in their heads. But Zegras is already better defensively than Kane was. I don't think he's going to put the offense up that Kane did, but. And you got Taves, it was going to take him a while to get going. He hadn't played in a whole year, so watch. I still say that Chicago team is going to be a lot better down the road. For sure. I still think that Chicago team is going to be a lot better down the road. Everybody starts coming in here when I gotta go. But yeah, I agree with you, Lauren. I think the Eichel stuff is him being a problem in the room. I think that just comes from people that don't know hockey very well. They just make a judgment based on the fact that Buffalo sucked and he's the captain, so it's got to be his fault. I find it funny how people will very seldom look at ownership and stuff like that as an issue with the team. Being in Edmonton, I heard it all the time that they were blaming this and blaming that player, or we let Petrie go, Schultz, Eberle had to go out because he was too soft in the playoffs, and all of this. And you heard in the chat rooms and everything, everybody going, get rid of Eberle, get rid of this, because they're the problem. But it never was. It was extremely poor management. We got a great owner in the sense that he's got a great heart. But we don't have a great owner in the sense that he understands the game now. Bad ownership leads to bad teams, yeah. Look at what Tom Dundon did for Carolina. Tom Dundon changed the whole energy of that team in Carolina. He brought fun back. He made it fun. And with all due respect to Francis, fun is not the first word you think about when you think of Francis. Let's put it that way. He brought fun to that organization. The players have fun. The players love being there. And he identified people that know the game now, the game as it is now, and did well with them. And let him go, trusted them. Waddell, what a great move to get Waddell. He was a guy that, kind of got messed over in Atlanta. Talk about bad ownership. Then it wasn't really his fault, anything in there, to tell you the honest truth. Well, Dundon brought smart people into the organization. He brought people with a progressive mind into the organization. And so you bring in a guy like Waddell, who looks at the game in a very progressive way. He's obviously analytically driven. He, and then you let him choose the guys that you need to choose. And he brings in that. What did the Oilers do? They brought in these old ex-players still stuck in the 1980s and 90s. They hire coaches that are kind of like that, or too young for the team, or just bumbling. They have no management experience whatsoever. It was a recipe for disaster. Trying to do a rebuild and you have no management experience at all. You're just know what's that's not what Dundon did. He brought in good, smart, progressive people and built that team. Anyways, I gotta go, guys. I wish I didn't have to go. I'm having so much fun right now, but I gotta go. I gotta pick up Caroline early today. So I'll be back here for my normal time, for my full time. But tonight, we got a special thing going on tonight. Tonight we have Projo is back. Projo is back tonight. Steele will be on tonight. I will be on tonight. So you're going to see me tonight because you're going to come for this. We're going to do the same type of show I do every day here tonight at 8 Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain. We're going to do a live show. If you don't have Projo, get subbed up to Projo. If you don't have Steel, get subbed up to Steel Flyers. Probably will be on here, though. It'll probably be on here. It's going to be all three of us, and we're going to be talking about exactly what we're talking about right now, and it's going to be awesome. You don't want to miss it. Put in a little less time now, but extra time tonight. I know you'll be there, Lauren. I know you're all going to be there. Thanks for your support, everybody. I love having you guys here all the time. This makes my day. It makes my life. I seriously love this every day. I get up every day going, I get to do my show today. And I get to talk to Lauren and Devondra and Mercer, and it's a blast. I'm so fortunate to be able to have this opportunity. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody. You're awesome. Okay, bye.